My name is Mimi Luebbermann, and we are at Windrush Farm. And I named the farm before I actually ever moved here. When I lived in Oakland, I came across the name Windrush, which is the name of a river, I think, in Wales. And I liked the name. And so I started, if I had something farm-oriented, I'd have them send it to Windrush Farm. And then when I moved here, it's the perfect name because we're in the Petaluma Gap. So we really get the windrush off the ocean directly through the Petaluma Gap. So it's a very small farm. It's 26 acres. And I farm the old-fashioned way. I have all kinds of different crops. I'm fairly prejudiced against monocrop agriculture. The old-fashioned farm used to have animals and crops and trees and fruit trees, and you get a much healthier whole ecology by doing that. So I farm fairly carefully to try and be a good steward of the land. Raise mainly sheep. I have milking goats for milk. I have chickens for eggs. I have llamas and alpacas. The llamas are basically guard animals because we do have coyotes here. And since I've had the guard animals, I really have not had any losses, which is awfully nice. I've had cows, Jersey cows, because I just think they're so beautiful. I grew up on a farm until I was about 7. So I tell everybody that if I had been older and had serious chores, I would probably be living in Paris in a condo. But all I remembered was all the cute little ducks and the cute little lambs and the cute little chickies. And we had lots of puppies. And so I was living and working in Oakland, but I just had to move and I just had to live on a farm. It was not in any way logical or realistic. It was a word from the past. So I sold my house in Oakland and came up here when I was 50, and it was on-the-job training. I just learned as I did. I wasn't sure exactly what I would do when I got, whether I would raise mainly crops or fruits or have animals, but this land is the best to raise animals on, so I went to my original plan, which was to have sheep. Farming is very challenging. No matter how much you think you know and how much experience you have, you're always back up against something that's never happened before, which is the unpredictability of it is kind of crazy. But it's good. That keeps you. It's not boring, but it's always unpredictable, And so you get up one day and you think you're going to have a certain kind of day, and then all of a sudden the sheep are on the road and you've got a hole in the fence. So you got to do all kinds of things, and you've got to be prepared to just deal with whatever it is that needs to be dealt with. And it's pretty fun, but it's also painful because there are tragedies that occur. And I never expected to be a grave digger as well as a midwife, and that happens as well. So you're up against the reality of life, and I like that. I don't like the cushioned. I like making my own fire to keep the house warm, and I like, being right there. If the sheep needs me, I'm there to help them. So it's a pretty real life. You're not cushioned by a lot. And I like staying busy. And I really like working with the animals. It's very interesting working with the animals. So we're going to start with some spinning. And the magic of this is carded roving, which is wool that's just been washed and then combed or carded. So it aligns the fibers. The fibers are basically going in one direction. So if you pull on the roving the way it is now, it just pulls apart. It won't hold. So the magic, in order to make yarn, you got to figure some way to make it hold together. When you twist it, then it won't pull apart. People started out with a drop spindle, but for me, the drop spindle means that you drop it all the time. So I myself like the spinning wheel, and it's going to do just what I did by hand. It's going to put in a twist And then we could do just what we did before, and we could ply it. We could ply it with 2 threads, 3 threads, 4 threads, 12 threads, whatever we want. But that's the magic, is it just is creating the twist, and I am controlling through the treadling and controlling the amount of twist that I allow. So it's an endlessly fascinating process. I eat out of my own garden. I have 2 freezers, and I do some canning, and I dry. I dry tomatoes and dry various things. So I don't eat too much fish. Often now I've set up, I swap fish, trade fish for meat or fish for fruit. So I try and eat pretty much out of my own cellar. I work with a lot of natural dyes. So over there you can see on the line those are indigo dye. And the green one was first dyed yellow, and then it was over-dyed in the blue. So those are the indigo dyes. And then over, if we want to go over there, I have, which is ready to be rinsed out, cochineal. And cochineal is a little bug. And it grows on cactus. So they have a lot of them in Oaxaca. They have a cochineal farm. And I could show you some pictures, too. So cochineal makes beautiful reds, wonderful red colors. Mainly I have sheep. So I have 2 flocks of sheep. I have a Corriedale cross sheep. The Corriedales are an English, or a breed that originated in England, and are a mid-range sheep in terms of being not too coarse and not too soft. There's a whole range. They've been breeding sheep for over 10,000 years. So there's tons and tons of different kinds of wool that they have bred for. So I have the Corriedale crosses. They're nice, sturdy wool, but soft, not too soft and not too scratchy. And then I have an heirloom breed called Shetland sheep. And they're a smaller sheep with beautiful soft wool that has an amazing kind of loft to it. It's really light. And then I have the llamas and alpacas. So that gives me a nice range of fibers that I can mix and match at the mill to create the kinds of yarns that might be interesting to people. Well, I always have favorites in the sheep. There are some sheep that are tamer than others. Cookie is one of our favorite ones who comes to talk to you. And Daisy is a wonderful cow who's really sweet and likes to be scratched on her cheeks. And then Yola, the ram who's down below, is another one who's very friendly. I'm on my 60th year, and it's a very nice way to live.